804, baby. Happy Friday, savages. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. I forgot what I was going to do. Let's see if we can try. Let's see if we can get more than 0 viewers today. How about that? What was I going to do? I forgot again. Damn. It's Friday night and the mood is right. Gonna have some fun, show you how it's done. TGIF. What was I gonna do? This. Okay. Let's try that. Oh, what is? Let's go. It's Friday night. The beginning of the weekend. We're gonna wait a bit. We're gonna wait a bit. I ain't got nothing to say really. I really hope somebody comes on and starts chatting. Gives me something ridiculous to talk about. It's been a crazy ass week. I've doing something different at work, and it's a little more physically demanding than my usual job. And I didn't really realize or think it was, but damn, it's been rough a bit this week, but pulling through. Still getting my workouts in, a few runs. We good. Let's go Friday night. Just gonna wait for a little few minutes. I guess that's the downfall of going live on YouTube is that I don't think YouTube is as popular, obviously, as Instagram and Facebook. You go live on Instagram and people see it right away. I think you spend a lot more time than you do on YouTube. That's why I try to share my streams and share my links. But Friday night is not an easy night either. People got shit to do, and so maybe I should switch up middle of the week. Maybe call it Tuesday Night Live. Maybe. What's good, savages? Welcome to another episode of Friday Night Live. It's me, Savage Paulson. Like I said earlier, I've said this before when I started sharing the show. This is unrehearsed. I'm not really sure why I'm doing this. It's just to add to the content right now of SVG TV. I opened this page up during the pandemic. I had this idea. I don't know why when I was doing all my podcasts back then. I just I hated the idea for some reason of just having a YouTube page for the podcast itself, because I always had like a, what if I want to release other content? Am I going to start making another page? And so I just, at first I think I started sharing my podcasts on the YouTube page, my personal one, and then after that I created SVGTV because I had this vision, I guess you could call it, or I had this thing that I wanted, that I saw, that I've always had a struggle and a battle with creating content online. Like when I look at people that are younger than me, you know, in their, even in their up to 30s or 20s, where they grew up more involved in this, or it seems to come easier to them. I guess a lot of people don't necessarily see the need at, you know, when you're in your 40s, but for some reason I've always had this creative side of uh, I've always had this creative side that didn't seem to want to come out in the most obvious, regular, creative way. Like if you think of artistic talent or creative talent, people that create, you think of drawings and paintings and music. I guess I never, but I always felt creative extremely. But I couldn't figure out, I didn't fit in the mold of what I perceived to be creative, I guess. So I didn't know how to express myself creatively because I didn't know how to draw. I didn't know how to sing or play music. But I always felt this need to be creative, so I would always look for an output for that creativity. Pro wrestling is a big uh, outlet for me as far as being creative. I've said it before on podcast episodes when I'm talking with other people, but pro wrestling gave me an platform to show the world this persona that I had built up inside of me from like the age of like 7. But going back to this need of being creative, I think there's a lot of things like that in life where like you feel a certain way, but it doesn't, you don't fall into the norm of what you perceive to be a certain thing. Maybe I'm not explaining myself, but like I said, being creative for me is one of those things where I didn't feel like, for me, being creative was, again, like I said, like you could create. It's like music, pictures, and paintings, and but it's really broad. You can be creative in so many different things, and I guess when you're a kid and you don't see those things and you don't really think about those things, you only think it's a certain way because of your ignorance, lack of knowledge, obviously. You struggle with when you feel that you need the need to be creative. So when social media, holy fuck, social media, that's how it sounded. Holy shit, that's how I heard it anyway. Like I was having a social media. Anyway, um, oh, complete, yeah. So when social media came around, I immediately, like many others my age, I'm not saying I'm the only one, but I immediately saw it as a potential tool to be creative. YouTube is never something that I dabbled with. I went, I bought my first iPhone, Facebook, Instagram. Those are the social media I did do Twitter for a while, but excuse me. Um, I did Twitter for a while, but it's so at the end. Just I remember I amassed about I don't know over 1,000 followers on Twitter early on because I used it only for UFC chatter. Like we would watch live pay-per-views and just discuss, put a bunch of hashtags, and then you get people like, and I don't know if they still do this, but they used to do this thing called Follow Friday. So you would basically copy all your followers, then you would share them on your timeline, and you'd put hashtag Follow Friday, and then these people would do the same to you, and it'd be like so they basically show you know share your Twitter handle to their followers, and I grew like that for a long time, but I deleted it. I wasn't after when I got out of like MMA and got into pro wrestling. I didn't really have a need, so I stopped using it, deleted it. Then I went back to it during the pandemic, I believe, early on, just as a news source. But it's so fucking toxic. It's just, oh my god, Facebook is not far behind, but Facebook, it's like I have my mom on there. I have a family from back home, friends from back home that don't necessarily follow me on Instagram or might not have an Instagram account. But to attach this back to the creativity side of it, I like it. I use it, and I'm trying to get more and more comfortable at it. Like I said, like I never really tapped into YouTube's potential as far as creating content, and I feel like this might be my better suited for me as far as the way I want to create the content, not always necessarily on Instagram and Facebook. I don't really share all my content on Facebook. I share mostly family stuff and the wrestling stuff, but there's a lot of workout stuff that I don't share on Facebook. I just share it on Instagram. But it's tough balance. To be honest, I think everybody struggles with it to use it as a tool to create and maybe whatever business you're in, market yourself, or pro wrestling, obviously very important. You gotta, promos, you know, share your matches, and obviously, um, it's a very important tool when you're a pro wrestler. But again, Facebook for me, early on, that's what you use, but now it's like less and less. There's a balance that's needed a lot at the time. This is what I was getting at. Oh, I lost my track, I thought, for a little bit there. Keep like, it's hard to stare at the camera like you're talking to someone sometimes, but there's a difficult balance between using it as a tool and also using it as a distraction, I guess. Because we all need a few minutes of our days distracted from whatever stress or sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be stress. It's just I think it gives you an out for whatever long you keep scrolling on your Instagram or your your YouTube. Yeah, it's not easy. Looking forward to the weekend. I think the weather's going to be nice. Back to baseball. Baseball season is starting now. My son, um, for those who might not know, recently fractured his elbow right before um, tryouts and was forced to miss double A tryouts. But things weren't as serious as we originally thought, and we got the cast off pretty fast after like 3.5 weeks. And he's back practicing now, and we're back soon. We'll be back playing, and looking forward to a season, great season. I've coached him all except for last year, from the age of 4 to now. He's going to be 14, so like 9 years, I believe. I love it. it's it's one of those things that I do that brings me joy. I don't really share or talk much about it. I think most people know that I coach baseball, but it's I just love it. I love baseball so much. I don't know what it is of all the sports. It's like it just I played it from a young age. Never stopped till I was 18. Started playing when I was 6. I wasn't very good, but I just love it. I don't know. I remember watching games on TV when I was a kid. And now I share this with my son, this passion. He's the same thing. He loves it. It's the only sport he plays. It makes me happy, that we have that thing. It's our thing. He obviously enjoys other sports, but that's his that's his thing. And it's not for everybody. I get it. It's hard to watch for most people, but I don't know. When you understand the game, and I've been studying it so much. Here's a great thing about social media. I'm going to tell you this right now to bring this back to social media. I try to connect these things. There are obviously negative effects of social media, and we can name a ton, but I'm tell you, like, where I've mentioned this before, I believe on one of my previous lives, but I think we're all in our different algorithms. People live in their own algorithm, and it's different from everybody else's. My algorithm has a few different, mostly, it's filled with like 3 or 4 things mostly, and one of them is baseball. And as a coach, for me, sometimes it's at first you're kind of like your ego gets in the way, and you're like, I know how to do this, and I have the knowledge of the sport, and I could teach it to kids. But it's not that easy. Sometimes you can be the best baseball player, but if you don't know how to transfer that information, especially to kids, you're going to fail as a coach. And it's extremely important. You have to be aware that sometimes, even though the kids don't seem to always be engaged, that you still have to commit and be the coach, and just understand that it's an important task that you do for free. So as I did it year after year after year, I got the chance to coach with other great coaches. So I got to learn a lot from some of them. So that helps. And I think at this point I've coached with a lot of the same guys, because kids follow along, their same age, right? So you get comfortable and you learn from each other. But what I was saying about social media is, which I love, is that it's like social media. I've learned so much about the game of baseball, the proper fundamentals, uh, the different approaches at bat, for pitch. There's so much info, so much coaching going on. I use Instagram, the reels mostly. It's similar on TikTok. I know it is. I've used TikTok in the past, so I know there's as much great information on there. But I've learned so much. I've been able to share so many different posts about baseball to my son, and I tell him, I say, "Hey, did you check out that post I shared? Did you see how like techniques and different training?" It's great. I love it for that, and the way it attaches itself to baseball. It's I see baseball as one of those. It's the hardest sport to play. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing in sports. No if hands and buts. If ands and buts about it. I think by far the hardest thing to do is hit a major league fastball. It's hard. It's a lot of work to become a great hitter. Like it's a grind, a severe grind. There's power involved, strength, the technique, the efficient is there's different approaches to the game, different approaches to the technique. If you follow baseball at all, they had the World Baseball Classic just a few weeks ago, like I forget how long ago, but not that long ago. Right during the preseason, they had the World Baseball Classic. And for those who don't know, it's like the Olympics of baseball. You play for your country, all the best baseball players in the world. And you could see the different approach from different nationalities. The Dominicans are strong. They were favorite to win the tournament. The Japanese are ended up winning the tournament. Their approach to bat is different. And you see it in their stance and their swings and the way they approach the game. It's different. And you have the Americans, which have the best baseball players in the world. Japanese are, in my opinion, catching up. But America, and you could see there's a lot of different, but for the most part, the fundamentals are the fundamentals. And it's about repetition. It's about drilling. And there's something about drilling that I always enjoyed. And I think I get it from jujitsu or martial arts. It's where like there's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of drilling. And baseball, it's all about that. Proper fundamentals, techniques, approach. It's so mental as well, especially when you go to bat. I love it. And I love it's a problem solving sport. You constantly have to be problem solving, basically. Somebody throws to you fastball, curveball, offbeat pitch, slider. It's there's nothing I enjoy more when I watch a game of baseball than watching a great pitcher establish his dominance on the mound. I every single pitch I when the pitcher is really locked in and he's in control of all of his pitches from the fastball to the curveball, any change up. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. I don't know, and for most people, they watch that they nothing about watching baseball excites them, but when I know there's going to be a great pitcher on the mound and I get to watch the game, yeah, I must say, if Shohei Otani is pitching, I'm gonna watch the game. If Derek Cole is pitching, I'm gonna watch the game. they have so the pitching, the talent on the field compared. It's amazing. It's from amazing plays, speed, explosiveness, like athleticism of these players. The baseball IQ is off the charts for every single one that's on the field. It's crazy. And right now, if you are not a fan of baseball, you're probably going, man, this is fucking boring. I'm sorry. I get excited. I was getting bored. I was about 24 minutes in to this, and I was like, not 24. I was about 16 minutes in, and I was like, man, I might cut this short. And then boom, I fall on the topic of baseball, and I just go, boom, I explode. I just love it. I love coaching. I love the approach to coaching. But back to the importance of coaching. I've seen a lot of parents uh, placed in those positions and just completely phone it in. They're just there because no one else wanted it or wanted to do it, and that happens a lot. But if you're lucky, you'll get a few dads that really care and are extremely passionate about the sport and actually care about teaching. And when that happens, it's great. So I had that opportunity. I had that chance for years after years after years. Like I said, I mostly coached with uh, the same dads, and we learned a lot from each other. And I'm extremely looking forward to coaching again this year. I didn't coach last year because my son made a higher level. He made double A last year, and I didn't coach. They have their own coaches, and so this year, because of his injury, he didn't get to try out for double A. So he's by default going to be playing in the A. And so I'm looking forward to getting back to coaching. I'm just excited. I'm excited to get back on the field and just drill and make sure these kids are 1,000 times better than on the last day than they were on the first day. That's the real goal. Obviously, I want to win some baseball games. I ain't that coach that says he doesn't care about winning as long as that. Yeah, of course, the important thing is teaching and coaching and making sure every single ball player on your team improves and gets better. But I want to win some ball games. If you know me, I hate losing. So I guess that's it. Another Friday night, another Friday night live. I'll just keep doing these things and people can catch them on the YouTube. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the YouTube channel and go give svgtv.yt on Instagram a follow. The support would be greatly appreciated. To everybody that's done it before or has already done it, thank you. To everybody that's been sharing my posts and all my episodes, I love it. Thank you very much. With that said, I'm out. I'm going to enjoy the weekend. Get up early tomorrow. Get a good workout in. And enjoy the rest of the weekend. Stay savage, everybody. Happy weekend. Happy weekend. Happy Friday. Catch you later.